These are study sketches that I did preparing for a scene where I wanted Tarzan to be playing with the gorillas, thinking that, hey, like the chimpanzee, he could be doing this almost like they spin around, almost on their head. It's like a top. So the rough animation is based on these sketches. So when Tarzan has all the gorillas on his back, he does what's natural to him in spinning around like a chimpanzee. There's an energy that you get when you do your first rough animation. These are the very first rough tests of Tarzan sliding down this little roller coaster of a jungle with Jane in his arms. I had noticed that in front of Notre Dame, the way the rollerbladers would go between these Coke cans, they had this fun little movement with his feet. And I thought, why not have Tarzan to be able to do this? So we actually built the branches so that Tarzan's feet could be going back and forth as if they're going through the Coke cans. And I think it worked great. The animal movements that Tarzan has are fun to watch, but we really relate to Tarzan because of the human emotions he shows. Here's a sequence where you see Tarzan in the treehouse where he discovers his roots.
Is this me?
These scenes, for me, are often the most difficult because you are trying to express such emotions that you feel yourself and you've experienced in your own life. I remember animating these scenes feeling the same emotions Tarzan was going through, and all you can do sometimes is just press harder on your pencil to try to make the drawing express what you're feeling in your heart, and you hope that the audience can feel it as they're looking at it. The scene where Tarzan meets Jane face to face is a moment where he discovers someone like him. You have to express it in the eyes, and I tried to find a moment in my own life when I had seen and discovered somebody like myself for the first time. And I remember my daughter Claire being born, 30 seconds old. The doctor puts her in my hand, and I looked, and it was like a mirror. I could see myself. And I told Claire, when you see this scene, Claire, that's not Tarzan looking at Jane, that's me looking at you. These are the things that make Disney animation real for us, is taking our own life and trying to put that up onto the screen so the audience feels it. It can't be just like a mannequin in a store or something. It's got to be something that tells you his personality, and when you look at him, you can feel the life of that character. It's also got to serve to inspire the acting.
Well, this is used primarily as reference for mass and form and complicated camera angles. They can turn it and rotate it and see how the shapes move. Even now at this rough stage, as you turn him towards you, this distance becomes much shorter as you're looking at it, and stretches back out.
This first sculpture, Kent and I worked on for 4 months to get the design right, and so I can actually see in 3 dimensions what it is I'm drawing. With this full figure now, we're going to be able to see the chest and the belly, the arms and the legs, which we don't get in the bust.
Today, Kent Melton is sculpting what will become the very first maquette in the history of Disney animation that incorporates computer-generated elements.
There's a lot of firsts on this film, and my job is no exception. Basically, the elements that are computer-generated on the character in the film are likewise computer-generated on the maquettes.
While Kent Melton sculpts his first pass at the maquette, CG animator Eric Daniels works closely with Glen Keane on the computer models for Silver's arm, leg, and headpiece.
We have a three-dimensional representation of the arm that we've created, which you see right here. This is sort of like a little sculpture, but it's like a virtual sculpture inside the computer.
Once the dimensions of the computer elements are worked out, Eric Daniels provides computer files to a company that specializes in a technology called stereolithography. Laser beams are shot into a liquid which hardens layer by layer into a three-dimensional plastic replica of the computer design.
In making this maquette, you really have 3 unique mediums of expression in art form. You have drawing, where it's just graphite on paper, and you have computer, where it's very much the same kind of a process but through tapping on a keyboard, and sculpting, where you're actually tactily feeling a form in dimension.
Finally, all the elements are combined to create the first ever Disney maquette with computer-generated parts.
Wasn't it supposed to be his left arm that was supposed to be